We are working our way through Chapter 2 in the Brotherhood of Darkness, and this is video number 6. Socialism. I also made it quite clear that socialism means equality of income or nothing, and that under socialism you would not be allowed to be poor. You would be forcibly fed, clothed, lodged, taught, and employed whether you liked it or not. If it were discovered that you had not character and industry enough to be worth all this trouble, you might possibly be executed in a kindly manner. But whilst you were permitted to live, you would have to live well. George Bernard Shaw. Researchers who have studied socialism realize that communism and socialism have similar goals. J. Edgar Hoover discussed the similarity between the two concepts when he wrote, in June 1957, Nikita Khrushchev, Soviet Communist Party boss, was interviewed before a nationwide American television audience. With calm assurance, he stated, "I can prophesy that your grandchildren in America will live under socialism. And please do not be afraid of that. Your grandchildren will not understand how their grandparents did not understand the progressive nature of a socialist society." Nikita Khrushchev advocated socialism in the United States, not communism. Every communist works to establish socialism because they are taught that socialism is a transitional stage between capitalism and communism. There are socialist organizations in every country, and the Socialist International coordinates the worldwide socialist movement. It is one of the 4 most powerful groups in the world, yet most people have never heard of it. In England, the Labour Party acts as a front group for the Fabian Socialist Society, which was organized in 1884 by George Bernard Shaw and his friends. Shaw explained socialism in his book, An Intelligent Woman's Guide to Socialism and Capitalism. I've got those books. Got a lot of the books that are mentioned in here. But his definition is seldom mentioned today because the Socialist International doesn't want people to know what lies ahead. George Bernard Shaw wrote, "I also made it quite clear that socialism means equality of income or nothing, and that under socialism you would not be allowed to be poor. You would be forcibly fed, clothed, lodged, taught, and employed whether you liked it or not. If it were discovered that you had not character and industry enough to be worth all this trouble, you might possibly be executed in a kindly manner. But whilst you were permitted to live, you would have to live well. As far as I know, I was the first socialist writer to whom it occurred to state this explicitly as a necessary postulate of permanent civilization." Leaders of both major political parties support socialism, but Republican leaders pretend to oppose it. Norman Thomas was a leader of the Socialist Party in the United States. He wrote, "The American people will never knowingly adopt socialism, but under the name of liberalism, they will adopt every fragment of the socialist program until one day America will be a socialist nation without knowing how it happened." On June 9, 1966, the Pittsburgh Press quoted Earl Browder, the former chairman of the American Communist Party, who said, "America is getting socialism on the installment plan through the programs of the welfare state. There is more real socialism in the United States today than there is in the Soviet Union. Socialists control most labor unions and use union dues to advance their legislative agenda. Despite the apparent conflict between union leaders and employers, in most cases there are secret agreements advantageous to both sides at the expense of the workers. Although socialists talk about democracy, their real goal is a world government under the control of an enlightened elite. The Socialist International coordinates its efforts with the CFR, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderbergers, and the Club of Rome, all of whom work to establish a world government. The only question is, who will be in control? Secular humanism. We reject those features of traditional religious morality that deny humans a full appreciation of their own potentialities and responsibilities. Traditional religions often offer solace to humans, but as often they inhibit humans from helping themselves. Francis Schaeffer studied the decline of Western civilization, and he came to the conclusion that secular humanism is responsible for our problems because secular humanists advocate abortion, homosexuality, prisoners' rights, socialism, world government, and deny the existence of God. Every communist and every socialist is a secular humanist. And although every humanist is not a communist, every communist is a secular humanist. The beliefs of secular humanism were codified in the Second Humanist Manifesto, where 17 concepts were presented that changed the world. And those are kind of long, so I will pick that up in the next video. So we'll go over those 17 concepts in the next video. So stick with me. This is not really a very long book.